Hello and welcome to episode 62 of Take a Break with me, Andrew Reid. No Adam this week. We pass on his best wishes to him. But this week I have two beautiful guests and another one. Would you all like to introduce yourself?
I'm Hilary from Bevan VAT Consultancy and also from Darlington Business Club.
I'm Michelle Reid from Hilary and Business Systems, for my sins, and I'm also from Darlington Business Club.
And I'm Jason Gurney from multiple companies, but also Darlington Business Club.
Welcome. So we have a very special episode because last week or the week before, it was Celebrating Women in Business 2024, which was a huge success. And for your sins, Hilary, you stepped in at the last minute.
Yes, I wasn't expecting to be the compare, but Emma, who was supposed to be doing it, unfortunately was trapped in Spain because of the floods and couldn't travel back.
Oh, my goodness me.
The event was on the Thursday night, and the Wednesday lunchtime I found out that I was comparing and presenting all the awards.
All right, well, that's great stuff. So what I would like to go into in this week's episode is obviously you're all part of each different company that you are, but you all give your time free for Darlington Business and the Celebrating Women in Business. So where did Celebrating Women in Business start?
Okay, yeah, I'll pick up on that one, Andy. So it all started over at Teesside International Airport in November 2022. Quite a while back now, or it seems ages ago. But it was a club meeting over there at the airport, getting an update from the airport, and some of the ladies in the room just started talking about awards in general, but nothing being dedicated to Darlington and County Durham. I normally do, when someone mentioned it, I said, well, put your money where your mouth is and let's do something about it. And that's where it was conceived. And obviously, we then had our first event the following May, literally days before the King's coronation. So, that was a special event. And then obviously, we've gone from strength to strength.
Excellent. So it's really good. So what part do you all play in it? I mean, you're all directors of Darlington Business, but do you have each particular roles, Michelle?
Well, I'm a new director of Darlington Business Club. I am about 2 weeks in in my directorship. I have been with the club for years, I was in on the committee previously. So I kind of got volunteered to step back into it.
Was that with your arm behind your back?
Yes, very high up my back, yes. So we do have roles. Jason's the chairman of the club anyway. But we're working on defining better roles, aren't we? Because we do generally just all muck in.
Yeah.
But I think we're finding that we need to maybe have more defined roles now to make it easier. But the Celebrated Women in Business, I helped the first year, even though I wasn't on the committee for the club. And then I was asked to assist again this year because there were some changes in the group that were running the event, and we wanted to get it over the line. Yeah. So, and then I foolishly said, let's do it again next year. So,
You fool. So next year, obviously, Hilary's comparing again.
Well, I haven't been told the dates yet.
No, you don't get told until the last second.
Yeah, if I can do the dates, I wouldn't mind doing it again now. But I think there's other people who would do a better job. But it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
No. So that obviously, were you having to prepare? Did you have to look at the who were the winners or the nominees? Did you have to gen up?
So luckily, Emma, who had been comparing, she had already prepared a script. So I had her rough script, which Jason had said to me on the Wednesday, there's not a lot to say, you're just announcing some names. And then on the Thursday morning, the script arrived and it was 10 pages long.
That's Jason for you.
There's quite a lot on it. But I didn't want to know who'd won beforehand.
Right.
So Jason had the envelopes with all of the winners in, but I thought it would be better if I didn't see that, if I was opening the envelopes on the night and as surprised as everybody else. So I read through the script really just to check if there were any names I wasn't sure how to pronounce, because I thought that would be quite bad if I got somebody's name wrong on the night. So tried my best just to get the pronunciation right and the formalities of it, because we had the Lord Lieutenant of County Durham there, so there's some things that you have to say in a certain way and get right, and the timing. So I didn't stick to the script rigidly, but I used that as a guide as to what I was going to say.
Okay. And getting the, apologies, Lord Lieutenant, is that right? Is that correct? correct thing. So how did that come about? Obviously, I'm looking at you, Jason, because it's from your military background.
Yeah. So literally, the previous year, so our inaugural one, obviously she couldn't attend, so I didn't put in a request for it because obviously she was going down to the King's coronation. So I actually this year decided, actually, do you know what? I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always get it, but I'm going to go for it. So I just put a request in. There's a form that you fill in and what it is you're trying to do, and obviously put that in, and then got a yes. She would love to attend, so that's it. It was,
and obviously, we were all there around this table. She did a fantastic speech as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, absolutely
She was
nailed
amazing.
it.
She's
She did.
wonderful,
Yeah.
isn't she? And she's always really well prepared. 'Cause I'm on the committee of Darlington Harriers as well, and she
Yes.
presented us with the Queen's Award for Voluntary Services a few years ago.
Right.
And then she didn't just turn up and say, "Here's your award."
Yes,
She'd
bye.
actually done research about the history of the club and seemed genuinely interested in talking to the people who were there and what
Yeah.
they'd done. And it was the same with the Celebrating Women in Business Awards. It wasn't just a generic speech. She'd thought about the area we were in. She'd thought about the people who were involved, and
Yeah.
really worked hard to say something that I think it really resonated with everyone in the
I think
room,
it
what
did
she
as
was
well.
talking
Yeah,
about.
there was,
She's just wonderful.
Wonderful, nailed it, and there was a
And obviously,
thunderous applause.
and
after.
obviously on the form that you fill in, if there was a particular thing that I needed her to address or to focus on, you can put that in the briefs that go into
Right.
them. So obviously you put that in ahead of time, and obviously they've got time, like Hilary says, to look at it and then plan for it. And like you say, it was an amazing evening, and the speech just it was the final touch to the evening. It touched everyone, and the
Yeah.
comments I had back was
I
amazing.
think so as well. I mean, obviously, as everybody knows, Michelle, my wife, we were involved. So I had a little bit of involvement there, setting up. But I felt as though the night started off really well, but it ended so high, and when obviously she finished the speech, I mean, I think everybody just stood up and was hollering and hooping, going, what an absolute awesome speech. So celebrating women in business, as we all do, and as we all say, behind every man is an excellent woman. And, I say this, Resilient wouldn't be the same without Michelle behind me. But what a great idea. And obviously the winners, the nominees, everybody that I saw on that night had a huge, huge smile on their face. And I think the evening went well. It was all well prepared. So how on earth do we start even thinking about this? I mean, obviously you're planning for next year now, but you are planning now like a year in advance. So Michelle, how does it even start to come together?
Okay, well, the first thing we do is we have to decide a date. We had a quick word with the hotel that we want to use to check, because of course if they can't do the dates that we want, then it's a no-brainer anyway. So we checked with the hotel. We've got a couple of dates. We're due to have a meeting, the three of us here, and anyone else that's going to be helping us, to now start the process, and that is to get sponsors.
Yes, of course.
For the various aspects of the event, and to determine, are we still happy with the awards that we've been doing? Do we need to tweak the awards? Do we need to add additional awards, etc.? So we'll have a meeting to go through all that. And once that's in place, it really is initially getting the sponsors. There's plenty of different sponsors. You can sponsor like we did the award, an award or
Yeah, of
multiple
course.
awards.
Yeah.
But there's also sponsoring like welcome drinks, there's basic sponsorship, there's sponsorship of just putting an advert into the brochure. There's all different things, and we need to get those packages together and get them out there for people to start hopefully taking us up on them.
Right,
So that we
okay.
can, and from there, it's lots of months of chasing everyone.
Yeah.
And then we sit down and we have the horrible job of looking through the menu and deciding what food we're going to eat on the
That
evening.
must be a horrible
It's
job.
dreadful. Unfortunately, we've not been able to have any tasters.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe ask for that
That's a
this
shame.
year.
That's a shame. That's a
We might have to have a meeting at the hotel.
I
to
think
do
we'll have a
taste
meeting at
test.
the
Yeah.
hotel. That's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a reason why you brought her back on board. So obviously in terms of the sponsors, obviously in terms of the awards, that's, obviously that's a financial thing. It's a shame we haven't got anybody financial to help. Oh, hang on. Hello, Hilary. So obviously just, without giving away the figures actually, but pulling it all together, it is a task, isn't it, in terms of monetary as well as effort?
Yeah, and I suppose the difficulty is a lot of costs are up front, whereas
Yes.
the income may not come in towards the
Yeah.
end. So yeah, getting sponsors up front is brilliant, because then you need to set the ticket prices at a price that is high enough to cover all the costs with hopefully some left over for a charitable donation or something like that, but that's low enough that we don't want to restrict anyone from being able to attend who wants to attend.
No, of
so
course.
it's finding that balance, and having as many sponsors as possible enables us to do that we can set the ticket prices at a reasonable rate.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, anybody that is attending, as I said, it was a fun-packed evening, but it was also full. There was not an empty seat around as far as I was aware. And certainly from that point of view, the ticket price and the sponsorship, for us, it's obviously fairly easy to do because we want to celebrate women in business. We want to provide that award. But you're right, it's got to be a fair balance, hasn't they?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, so we did really well. We had 155 people there, which is brilliant. We're really pleased with that. But yeah, it needs to be a bit open to everybody, so anyone who wants to attend can.
So are there any plans to make it bigger next year?
A few more tables, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't fit many more in the
No,
room.
much more. No.
So maybe a couple more tables in there is potentially doable. A lot of it's going to depend on, like you was there, you saw it. We had a fashion show there.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Now, obviously, having the fashion show, which I have to admit, this year they knocked
the kids were absolutely
amazing,
adorable,
and I'm sure you've all seen the video that's come out. So when you look at that, it's like that little girl that was on there.
No.
That's not saying the others weren't, but that little girl, it's that
Just
smile.
everyone in the room went,
it was contagious.
Absolutely. It was like,
But yeah, it's if that wasn't on, possibly an extra table. But I think certainly being there this year, that really made it at the start of the evening. It relaxed everyone. It got them, like you were saying, giving it, look at that, So it just made the night.
No, I think so as well. But again, forgive me. Who was was it Zana, the fashion show?
Zana. And
Can't remember.
Freya Lily.
That's a Freya Lily. I can never remember the name of it.
Exactly. But I actually thought that the fashion show, which we did have last year and this year, again, I just think it starts the evening off perfectly. It's a really nice, and as you said, Jason, relaxed. Everybody's just looking, and obviously there's no pressure. It's just like we're looking at that. I think it was a great way to start it.
I think that's what we're looking at for this year. We're looking not so much increasing the numbers greatly, because I say
this next year.
The upcoming year. It gets very confusing.
It does.
But it's more what else can we do to make the night special? We're looking at alternatives, not necessarily keeping a fashion show potentially, but also what else can we do? What other entertainment can we maybe have?
Yeah.
We want to make it a very special event, even better than this year's was. For next year, we want it to be different again.
Yeah.
So that's another aspect that we'll be looking at as to how we can do that, really, because you don't want to keep it the same, because people will think, well, I've been for the last 2 years, I don't want to go again if it's no different.
That's the same for every event. You've always got to make something slightly different. But I thought the stalls outside where people were able to sell things or show their wares, again, I thought that was a great idea. So are we looking to get more of that as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a nice thing. And even if one of the stall holders I was talking to said, I'm not expecting to sell much tonight, but what I'm doing is I'm here to meet people, to talk to people, to get people to know what it is that I do and make connections for next time. And I suppose that's part of what the whole thing, it's the ethos of the business club, isn't it? It's making connections with each other.
Yeah.
So if there's an extra way that people can do that. And some of the stalls were brilliant. Sarah, who came with me, she bought a handbag from one of she was sitting there for about an hour going, I don't know do you think I should go back and get it? And I was like, you've been thinking about it for an hour. You definitely need that handbag.
No, definitely.
So it was definitely a nice addition to the evening.
Well, one of the stalls actually saved our evening.
Yes.
Because one of our guests on the table, Hannah, she forgot her handbag. So she didn't have an evening handbag with her. I
went downstairs and I went, oh, look, there's a stall selling evening handbags.
And we managed to get her handbag, so she was really chuffed.
Were you authorised to choose it, or did you just report back?
I reported back. No, actually, to be fair, I wanted it to be a little surprised by Hannah. I did pick one, and I got the approval of my good lady. She went, yes, good choice. I was like,
and Hannah was really pleased with it.
Hannah was really pleased with it. So no, that was good. But yeah, the stalls outside, again, I feel as though that's a great introductory thing for people. We obviously all met at the start for a few drinks, but having the stalls there, again, to me, people are wandering around, they're meeting each other, it's great. But then to actually go in the stalls, I genuinely saw people like, oh, look at this, and oh, I didn't realise this. And again, I just thought that was a lovely way to start the evening.
And we made sure that stalls that were there weren't competing with each other.
Yeah.
Because of you don't want that. It's
no.
So yeah, there was a little bit of thought that went into that, but yeah, it was amazing.
And we've got a few that wanted stalls that we couldn't have any more stalls last year.
Right, okay.
For this year that's just gone. So, but we're hoping for next year we can. Again, it's chatting with the hotels and checking that what space we can have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the first year the stalls it was a last minute thought, I think, really. But this year we got them totally right. I think the number were good. What they were selling was brilliant, and it really, really helped. So
no, exactly, it was really good, wasn't it, and something like that. So if we can talk about actually the event now, in terms of how on earth do we pull together, or you pull together, which awards to do and who the nominees? As I say, obviously Michelle was involved, but I was so busy running my life. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Michelle, carry on. I just kept getting Michelle going, I'm disappearing now. Why? Another celebration? Okay, fine. I'll hold the fort. But how does it even start to go, you're going to get this award, or even the nominees, or the categories? I find it odd that you even managed to choose these things.
Yes, so obviously the first year was the first year. When we did the first one, we had nothing. So we looked at other awards that were going on. And I think at that point we had 7 awards. We found 7 awards that sort of what we looked or what we thought covered most things. So we had that. And then obviously we had the awards. And then at the end of that, we identified. So when we was planning this year's awards at the beginning of end of last year, we identified that there was one that was missing, which was the equality and diversity side of things. So obviously we added that award in, and obviously Alison, who was one of our judges this year, who won it last year for the female, most inspirational female leader, we brought her on as a judge with her expertise and everything. And then obviously the hard part was really, once we've got the categories and putting the blurb that goes with that, the nominations is just we open up a form and then we just let people know that they can start nominating.
Right.
That's the easy part. The hard part is that I get involved in is getting all those nominations together, putting them in big piles, and then pulling the judges together, taking all the nominations on paper to the judges and saying, right, okay, ladies, sort through it and just hand over. And then I'm just there if there's any questions. So because we're County Durham and Darlington, or Darlington County Durham, whichever way you want to look at that, I just have to check that we don't have someone from, from Middlesbrough that's coming in, which is outside of our postcode geographic area. And obviously on the nomination form, we've got that you've got to have that postcode area in there.
Yeah.
So I can quickly see that's there. And then obviously as I'm sorting it all to hand over, they are listed out. And obviously what I do is I don't have all the names. So when I'm giving it to the judges, they don't have the names of the people. They just have the 3 questions or 4 questions that we asked and that criteria. I then say, right, okay, ladies, I don't know, there's 27 entries for this particular category, and there's been 3 that have been withheld. That's still there, so if they wanted to check it, I can say these have been withheld, and they get the full printout of they've been withheld for this reason, i.e. they're out of area.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But it's then down to the judges that actually do all the hard work and choosing that one.
Difficult job.
They were saying this year it was a lot more difficult. I mean, the first year it was new. We didn't have as many nominations.
Of course.
We had a lot of nominations this year. But the judges, they're going blind. We want to keep it as fair as possible. So all they're reading is what the nominator. Yes, I know it's a difficult word, that, isn't it? What the nominator has said about them and why they think they should win. That's all they get to read. So they don't know the people, they don't know the companies they may work for. Yeah. It's all blind. And once that's all done, they choose their 3 finalists, and they then go. The only person that knows about the 3 finalists at any point after that is Jason. He keeps them under lock and key, so no one is aware at all. The compere isn't aware, as Hilary mentioned. I only know when I'm getting the the awards, I stand at the side. I thought I was hidden by the TV, but it would appear I wasn't hidden by the TV, and no one let me know. But I stand there and I have my hand over the award as well, so that anyone walks past or behind me, no one can see the name at all until the envelope is opened.
Yeah.
And they read out the name.
Yeah. Again, I would like to say that from, obviously I was looking at it, whenever you did mention the 3 nominees, they all were like fairly well surprised. And then the actual, winner was sheer joy. And like, oh my goodness me, So again, I thought that was a real nice. And obviously the people that nominate them, they do stand up and they go, no, you should have this award. You should do this. So it's great. And one of the stories, obviously, we have got is that, I appreciate, Hilary, you weren't there, but we had the opportunity to present an award for somebody that wasn't there. So for the MJ's CAF in Middleton St George,
Shalona,
we plotted with Catherine from MSG Elevate.
Yeah, so it's Catherine that nominated her.
Yeah, exactly. So she managed to know that she'd won. So Catherine then said, "Let's go for breakfast." Shalona came up the stairs, unaware completely. So she was like, and then Michelle had the naughty idea to say, "I'd like a complaint." And then we made a complaint, and the complaint was you weren't there at the awards. And then Michelle actually read out the nominations, and honestly, Shalona was just like,
and I'm reading out what
Catherine
had said about her, and I'm saying, like, you weren't there on the night, and she was saying, oh no, it was Halloween, I was busy. I went, no, I know. I said, but you were nominated. You went, oh, was I? And I'm reading it out, and I said, yeah. And she's looking at me as if to say, and I went, and you won? And she went, did I? And she was in tears. It was lovely, and she was so happy.
The whole, all upstairs, all applauded as well. So that was really good.
Nice. It was
really nice. But that was, and then obviously Shalona turned on to Catherine and went, you. So there was a lot of finger pointing, but it was really, really nice. And obviously, from our point of view in the village, she's done a fantastic job. Yeah. Really good. So
unfortunately, we did actually have to have breakfast while we were there.
Yeah, it was a real shame.
It's a hardship.
It was dreadful.
It was a hardship. So moving again, if we talk about next year, are there any new awards that we're thinking about? Any new new award or new categories?
I don't think we've got that far yet.
No. I've got one in my mind just based on which I can't say out loud at the moment because, of course,
best husband of director who's in the IT business.
No, because you're a male for a start, and I know you were joking about putting a frock on the evening, but no, I'm not going to let you.
Discrimination. I just think it's discrimination, Jess. But anyway, no, sorry.
However, so I have got one in mind that kind of has come to light because of some of the winners. So anyway, that's how it usually works. You take a feel from the night and you think, well, they won, but that could have been a different category, maybe.
Yeah.
It's all kind of having as many people win that we can get to win. Because I think that's the nice thing that we want people to win these awards.
So there's also must be a fair balance. You don't want an award for I'll have an award for turning up. Yeah, I won that one as well.
No.
So yeah,
and it's in your head when you go through the process. You think, right, I'm imagining a big company now. So I'm imagining all these women that work for this company. How can I make sure that the cleaners get thought of in these awards? How can I make sure that the boss is thought of in these awards? And the woman that comes in every day at 7 o'clock, even though she doesn't start to work till 9 o'clock in the morning, that knows the answer to actually every question you're ever going to ask. So what we do is we then think, right, that award covers that award can cover that person. And it's trying to find awards that kind of fit for every possible woman that's working in every possible business. Yeah. So that everyone can think, well, I can be put forward for that award, and hopefully we get a few bosses that think, I need to put her through for that award. So, that's how we work.
But it must be difficult in terms of all of those categories to actually get there. And as you said, Jason, the judges, goodness me, I don't know how they manage. But obviously all of that. But what I also find nice is the people that are actually nominating their friend, like Catherine nominated Shalona. Sorry, I can't say that name. But Catherine nominated Shalona.
And Catherine won one herself last year. And I think that's a good point, that a lot of people were actually inspired from the previous year's ones. Because somebody said to me on the day, I never thought that I could be nominated for an award. I thought they were for other people. But then she was actually nominated for an award and won. And I think, that, again, with Catherine, got inspired by the fact that she was nominated. She's then nominated someone else. And I suppose that's the word celebrating at the beginning of it. That's what we're doing, and we're celebrating everybody. And the more people we can inspire and get celebrating, the better.
That's a really good way of putting it, Hilary. I never thought about that, but you're right. As more people get nominated and win, I will hope Shalona will then nominate somebody within her business, and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, you are looking to hopefully grow that whole side of things as more and more people get inspired. Because the whole ethos of Darlington Business Club, it resonates through to the Celebrating Women, because it's a thing that we should be doing within any business. So it's a great way of putting it, and hopefully we do inspire more and more people to nominate. Yeah, so not really good, really good. So again, Jason, we all run our own companies. We all run everything else as well, and then you volunteer for doing this as well. And as I said, Michelle was just disappearing off in the middle of meetings, and I'm just like, where are you going today? Like, oh, another meeting. But it must be hard to balance that. But as well, the point I'm getting to, it's also very rewarding at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, people say to me, I've been doing the club now 19 years, and the question I get, why?
Yeah.
And it's like, do you get financial? And it's like, no, I don't get a penny. And they say, why? And it's like, it's that feel good. It's like, I feel as if and I suppose when I look back at it, it's like I joined the army at 18, bear with us where I'm going with this, but it's like, I feel about serving. To me, there's something about serving, whether that's serving in the forces or serving the business community. It's about giving to others.
No, I think it's a great idea. When you all give your time freely, as you said, there's no financial gain in any of this at all. So giving your time freely, Jason said that he doesn't say, but I know how busy we are, Michelle, and finding time for that, and yourself, Hilary, finding time, but you do it, don't you, because you believe in what we're doing.
Yeah, I think part of it's giving back as well. I only started my company in 2018, and one of the first things I did was join Darlington Business Club.
Yeah.
And there were so many people there who were so supportive, who'd gone through the same thing because they had set up their own business. And, people who'd say, well, even if you don't want anything particular, let's have a cup of tea and a chat and talk about it. And it was just such a great community, and I got so much from it that when Jason asked me if I wanted to be a director, it's like, oh yeah, that's the way that I can help other people get that support.
So you got asked to be a director, whereas Michelle got hoodwinked and arm wrestled to be a director. Hang on, there's something not right here.
Well, I mean, it's similar for us. I mean, we joined Darlington Business Club, it must be 7 years ago now, 8 years ago, something like that. But for us, I've tried lots of different networking meetings and everything like that. But I found with the club, the relaxed atmosphere we have, and everyone that attends the meetings is there to offer help and guidance to anyone else.
Yeah.
There's very few members that ever come into the club that want business. I know it sounds really strange, because we are businesses that want business, but we don't go to club meetings for that. We go to the club meetings to interact with other business owners. Some of it is quite good, because it's like we might not realise that our problem someone else is having.
Yeah.
And sometimes just the general chats around the table, you think, oh, you're the same as me. How did you fix it? So you get the advice and guidance from others, and then you do naturally give that to other people as well. And it is a nice feeling when someone says, oh, thanks for that, or that really helped me last time,
Yeah.
So I think we that's why I've stuck with the club. Everything else has gone by the wayside, because I get so much enjoyment out of the meetings and the fact that I think we do good things.
Yeah.
And hopefully next year, if I'm allowed to say, we're hoping to bring the expo back as well.
Yeah.
Which will be nice. I mean, COVID put it on stop for a few years, sort of thing. So hopefully that'll come back next year as well, which again is just a way for our members to be able to showcase what they do. But instead of it just being to us around smaller tables, it's going to be in a big, huge venue where other people can come and see how fabulous all our members are as well. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good point that you're making there. And obviously it all stems from Darlington Business Club, and we've had a specific episode about that as well, and about how many people love and enjoy it. And obviously, bless, I don't attend anymore purely because of the fact I'm so busy with everything else. But Michelle was definitely sort of like, I'm absolutely coming to it. But when I did attend, I definitely found that everybody was just willing to help. And I found through these episodes of Take a Break, I found that a lot of people that we've been talking to on the podcast, they always say, well, I felt alone at the start. And then I found our networking or somebody else. So again, it's been really good from that point of view. When you're looking at something like a celebrating business, Women in Business Award, obviously there are so many things to take into account. Not only the venue, not only that, but let's just touch on the awards, and let's just touch on the food. Having to put all of that together, again, mammoth task. So again, how do you start, working with the hotel? Do you work, I'm talking specifically about the food and the event, letting people know where it is, car parking, all of these types of things.
I mean, the hotels are really good. They're always helpful because, of course, it's their flagship.
Yes.
Whenever that you turn up to any event, it's the hotel that's getting the spotlight shined on them. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much organising we do. If anything goes wrong on the night, they'll blame the hotel for it. Yeah. So I do feel sorry for them having to do that if events do go wrong. So they're really helpful at the start.
Well, sorry, can I say a big shout out to the hotel?
Redworth Hall.
Yeah, I mean what a location.
Fabulous. And the staff
location.
There are really, really good.
Yeah, they really are.
Lindsay and the team, and I can never remember the lady who sets up the room for us. Her name, it won't go into my head no matter how many times she told me it. But they were just so fabulous and helpful. We went to a meeting about a month before, and we had the sound guy there, and we wanted to do some sound checks. And we weren't sure whether we'd get the whole room all day to be able to set up. So we said, if there's a meeting next door, will you be able to hear? At which point they got one of the maintenance guys to come and shut the divider between these two rooms. And we had Jason and Michelle from the charity were on one side of the wall, singing and dancing really loudly. Well, we were trying to see whether we could hear them. And they actually did that for us quite easily, which was hilarious.
I'm just going to add there, I wasn't singing out.
No, right, okay.
I wasn't dancing. I was just talking loudly.
Like normal.
Yeah.
Like normal. Yeah.
Okay, Michelle was singing and dancing.
But Michelle was singing and dancing, and at one point I had to look round, and it's like she really was dancing.
The problem is we couldn't hear them, so we didn't know they were doing this, and then they couldn't hear us, so they didn't know to stop. So we went on so the hotel were really helpful with that, and they've done this for years, so if we're ever not sure of anything, we can ask the hotel what they think anyway.
But even to the point where the room was in the hotel, where the doors were allowed, there was a big thing, there was a red carpet for everybody. Again, all organised by the hotel. So that was fantastic. It really was good.
The red carpet and they had a lovely red cordon at the bar. That was all Lindsay's idea. She said, well, do you want a red carpet? Well, of course we want a red carpet.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think because for probably the start of the evening, I felt as though people were coming in and like not knowing where to go. So I stood outside, and obviously as the people coming in, again, they were all dressed up, they were ready for the evening. It was beautiful to see. People just, I was like, yes, please, women in business, yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, you get the people who were coming in maybe not on their own, but sort of like a little bit nervous. And they were going, celebrating women? I'm like, yes, they see. And then they turn, see everybody mingling, and they were like, oh, wow, okay. And then they would see somebody, and then again, it was lovely for me to see their face light up, oh, hey, Hilary or whatever like that. And again, really, really nice from that point of view. But where do we start with the food, the choices? Because again, we ate there, and it was fantastic food.
We were very lucky. We'd all been to events there before. And when we were looking at the menu, we were like, got to have the beef. It was like, got to have the beef because we attended the event that Trident Manor had put on.
Of course, it was there, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was in the Great Hall, so we'd had the beef there, so I knew that was fabulous. And I think, Jason, you'd attended
I've done a couple of
events
there. So it was like, you've got a taste for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, okay. But then it was choosing, well, you've got to, the hotel say, right, you can choose 2 of these and 2 of these. So it's like, well, what do you choose? And it's like, so we went for, we had to go for the vegan and vegetarian and whatever it is, options. But again, the venue tell us these are the options for that. So it's like, right, okay, let's deal with that one first. Right, okay, so that's there. But some of it, like the soup, it covered both sides. So it's like, well, that was a perfect choice.
No, of course.
Because it would cover both sides of it, whereas,
Well, Hannah, our guest, she's a vegetarian, and she thought the meal was fantastic.
I was saying that's another thing as well with Redworth. I think the vegetarian options, I like it when they don't, it's not second class food, because I know some venues do that.
No, it was quite fancy. I don't know what it was. Goat's cheese and peppers and
something like that. It looked amazing.
It was something interesting.
Vegetable Wellington. Yeah, but because I find that with some places the vegetarian and vegan options are usually let's just slap that in there.
You get a butternut squash risotto and
that's
something like that. Yeah, no, I did think of that.
But it was
so.
Really
let's talk
good.
a little bit about the awards, the design of the awards, the wording. Who does that? What's that idea?
So I suppose at the moment it's me because obviously I've been involved. So the awards themselves, obviously we've got one of our club members, Anne-Marie, over A4AO, which abbreviates awards for all occasions or something. I think that's how it was came about. But I just go to her as a member because we try and use our members and stuff like that and say, right, okay, I need 6 awards or 8 awards or 10 awards, whatever it is, and it's for the Celebrating in Business. And then she'll just give me a selection of choices, and it's like, right, okay, so I then go shopping and say, right, what one do I like? I like that one and I like that one. Some of it comes down to price, because you've got crystals and you've got all sorts. But it's like, right, okay, and I don't want them to be the same each year.
No,
so they've got the design's got to change each year. But basically what goes on it will be the same in the sense that it's going to have a logo. Now we may refresh the logo slightly. But the logo will go on the year,
of course,
2025, the name of the winner and the sponsor. So that part is standard that goes on. It's just the design of it, which obviously Anne-Marie then has made up and then engraved and everything else. So, but that goes back to the committee. So at the time, my committee at the beginning of the year totally changed to what it was at the end of the year because of people leaving, where they were at. But so obviously Hilary and Michelle now will be involved in that going forward to look at those designs. It's like, which one do we like?
Yeah, but this year's awards looked lovely. They were really good. And obviously, you were close up seeing them.
I had hold of them before anybody else touched them.
Absolutely, but yeah, they looked really, really nice.
They were really nice, and they're nice and they're sturdy as well.
Yeah, they're wet. They feel substantial.
Yeah,
Like an
they feel
award,
like
yes.
it's a proper award that you've won, and everyone was so proud of being able to display them, and I think that's the key. It's you can tell when they take them back to the table and they put them on the table, if you can tell they're proud of it, whereas the ones that put them in the box and then the box goes in with the bag, they won't be happy with it. But everyone had the awards out on the table. They were so pleased and proud to get them.
We might have to accidentally go to MJ's to see if the award's still there and have breakfast at the same time.
To check she's got it
To
on
check
display.
Yeah. I think we'll check every
we'll do
month
that
or so.
one.
Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. So what was it like, Hilary, when obviously the person you nominated and then you mentioned the winner? Because obviously you were the first person to sort of like say their name, and obviously I was looking around and somebody going, "Oh, it's me!" So it must have been really nice for you as well.
Yeah, it was a lovely feeling. I suppose the difficulty when you're on that stage and you've got 150 odd people in the room in front
looking
of you,
at you,
and reading out the name. So my first thought was, I hope I pronounce it right. I hope I don't do like happened on the Oscars where they read out the wrong thing or something. Terrified I was going to do something wrong. But Jason had gone through before and we'd put a number on each one, so I had them in the right order.
Good.
So I was hopeful it would be all right. And then I suppose I didn't necessarily know where people were sitting.
Of course.
So at first there's like a little bit of silence where you're thinking, I've read out the name, where are they? And then all of a sudden, everybody cheers and claps, and then they come up and the sponsor presents the award.
Do the nominees, whatever, do they actually know they've been nominated at all?
Yeah, the nominees do, but not all nominees, only the...
No, all. So when the nominations come through,
Yeah.
So if we go back to that process, they put the nominations in, and then the nominations close.
Yeah.
At that point, I prepare, like I said, for the judges to meet up with them. At that point, I then send an email to everyone that's been nominated to say, Michelle, you've been nominated in this category. And then I actually send one to the nominator to say, your nomination, Michelle, Andy, has been, it's gone to the judges. Now we are changing that this year slightly just to avoid confusion. That then goes to the judges. Everyone's going to be there's not going to be this year. We put it as a finalist. It's literally going to be. They're all going to be nominations because there's one award which we've not discussed, which is the judges award. Which
yes, of course,
there's no criteria for that. It's just
the judges
as it
choose,
says. The judges can choose. So any one of those nominations that's in front of them, whether they've won 1, 2, 3 awards, they can. If the judges deem that person is worthy of that award, that is their choice, and it's down to the judges. So yeah, that's where that is.
Okay, fine. But then going back to what you were saying, Hilary, obviously that person then does light up. They come up the stage. Obviously, I was very proud and very honoured to be able to present to some of the awards. And again, I just remember the one lady, I can't remember, she was giddy as anything. She was just like, oh my God, I won, I was won. And then she stood by me, had the photograph taken for the award, and she just looked so proud at having it, and I could tell she was welling up, and I was going, no, I'm not going to cry. But it's really, really, really nice for that person to have been nominated in the first place, but then to win. Yeah, I mean, that, what the other thing I'd like to say is that I felt as though no matter who won, the whole room was behind them. It didn't seem to matter who won. Just everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's really great!" And I think that
there wasn't any
resonated. No, like the Oscars where you're like, "I should have won that." Everybody in the room was behind every
because it is
nominated
a celebration.
It is, absolutely.
And so just because somebody wins over somebody else doesn't mean that anyone else who was nominated isn't as good and isn't doing wonderful things.
Yeah.
It was a room full of people who were doing wonderful things every day. So,
and if I can, and if I may, I go back to the Lord Lieutenant's speech. She echoed that absolutely, and that's what she said. You're all winners. That's the bit that I took away. Basically, going, you're all winners today. No matter who's been nominated, who's won, you're all winners, and let's celebrate what we're doing. Keep coming back to that word, celebrate, because that's what it is. We are celebrating those people, and obviously it's great to be able to do that. But I think now, from what I can see, being slightly involved with through Michelle, but not involved, if you know what I mean. I just turned up on the night and was told what to do as usual. That's fine. But I think this year was much better than last year's, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to the previous years. I just felt you stepped up a level. I now can't wait for 2025 because I'm like, what's going to be now? What are you going to do now? And again, that must be all exciting for you three to try and work out what is coming next.
Yeah. I mean, the first year we had no idea what we were doing. Yeah. In all honesty, there was no one on the committee that has ever done an awards before. We just did it from, we'd attended a few awards ourselves, so we knew kind of what we wanted to do. So the first year, it was good. I enjoyed the evening. I was just very nervous of it. Whereas this year, it was a lot more. We knew we'd done it before. We knew we had it more polished this year. We knew we had more people attending this year. So it obviously meant that last year had to have been good. Yeah. Because we got more numbers. So next year can only get better. There's a couple of things we learn every time. There's a couple of things we learn from this one that we need to do better for the next one. And we will work on that and we will get it and it will be polished and it'll be fabulous. We've just got to find some extra bells and whistles now because you've just put a lot of pressure on us now. It's got to be better.
Well, that's the whole idea though. But I think, as you were saying, Jason, you do look, maybe an extra category, maybe a little bit more entertainment, and I don't know what's going to happen. But just to try and make that evening, and everybody's human. You're right, Hilary, your point about, well, I've attended last year's, I won't bother attending this. We obviously would love everybody, like, no, I want to attend this year's, even if I'm not nominated. So how do we decide who's even coming along? Because obviously some customers, some companies, they weren't nominated at all, but how do you decide, we will invite this company, we will invite this company?
Everybody's invited.
Everybody. But you can't have everybody. There's not enough room.
No, they can either attend. First come, first serve. They can either attend, they can sponsor. Yes. And I think that's the key thing for businesses and putting the business hat on. It's marketing for your business. And if nothing else, there's 155 people in the room. Hopefully we'll get to like 170, which I think is our target, hopefully, for this year. But if you can imagine, you've got 170 people in that room that are part of businesses that are seeing your logo, they're seeing your company, and they're also females are seeing your businesses are supporting females. Yeah. And that's the key thing with the celebrating of women. It's the awards were brought about because it's recognised that when women go up in awards against males, they don't win. Yeah. Like it or not, it nearly always goes to the males, which is why it became just the celebrating women business. But for women to see that big businesses and male-run businesses are supporting women, it gives them the empowerment to think, well, I can go into that business, I can go and work for them because I will feel appreciated. So for the business side of it, the sponsorships are key, whether you attend on the evening or not. The sponsorship packages are really good for getting your branding out there.
Yeah.
And as I say, it is that lovely big tick that says, we support women. The women in Darlington, we support you.
Yeah. One of the other things that I thought was great is during the night, my phone, I mean, obviously it was on silent, but it just kept pinging. And I'm just like, what's it pinging? And obviously you have a look. And what I'm getting at is that it was nice, really nice, that a lot of companies, businesses were celebrating on social media, LinkedIn, tagging me, saying, great to bump into Andy, great to bump into Jason. So, all night my phone's going ding, ding. And it's like, oh, there's a picture of me. And oh, there's a picture of that. I felt as though that whole word of celebrating, they were echoing it out on the night. We got so much engagement on social media. I think everybody said that. And it was really nice to see. So again, that whole point of getting out on social media, big tick, even celebrating, going, I'm here. That is social media. That is marketing. That is getting your name out there. So great in terms of all of what you do, and you're smiling.
I was smiling. It was just you saying about your phone pinging. It was like, I didn't actually have my phone on me. I gave it to Donna.
Well,
because obviously, because I was hosting the Lord Lieutenant, I thought, you know what, I don't want my phone going off on the table. But there was a few times it's like, I can't do anything. So there was a couple of things that happened that needed to be done. And it's like, I don't actually have my phone.
Yeah.
Well, and also we lost you at one point.
Yes, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yeah, so we'll pick up on that one. So obviously, going back, Andy, you said about hosting with the Lord Lieutenant. Is there protocol? There's protocol there. So part of that protocol is you've got to give a named person that's going to be escorting the Lord Lieutenant around. So that was myself. So what I did this year is another little sort of, I have little things that I do in my head that I don't necessarily tell everyone, but it's just me adding those little touches. So the bit that I did this year was, I thought, do you know what? I don't just want to be doing the escorting myself. So obviously Michelle had met the person that I'm going to be talking about at another event, but didn't know this until the night. But I actually invited Lieutenant Colonel Taylor Jane Fox from down at for HQ North.
Wow.
To be on the table with us for the judges.
I didn't realise
then
that,
when she got there in full military dress, which went down very
amazing.
well, I just looked at her and went, so Mum, I said, in uniform? And she went, yes, that's what you asked me for. I said, would you mind escorting me now, please? And we're going to go and escort the Lord Lieutenant. And she's like, absolutely. So we went to the front of the building, which is where on the form I said, we've got a reserved parking bay at the front of the building for the Lord Lieutenant. So the driver comes, parks there. And the idea, we were stood outside waiting.
Yeah.
I didn't have a watch on. We didn't have mobile phones on us because obviously that was all, we didn't want. So we're then like, So we're watching cars going along, thinking, no. And I'm like, no, I definitely said the front of the hotel. Should be here. Maybe it's a bit delayed. Maybe there's traffic.
Yeah.
And then next thing we know, from behind us, the door opens and says, are you waiting for the Lord Lieutenant? It's like, yes, is there a problem as is there a delay? No, she's at the back. She's been here 15 minutes. At which point it's like, you can imagine me and the Lieutenant Colonel sort of like doubling time through the hotel to get to the back thinking, oh my good God, I've done all this planning. So little note to myself, have a backup that I'm going to have someone at the front of the hotel, i.e. myself, and then someone at the back of the hotel. Should that happen again, there's going to be,
So
thankfully...
luckily in the end I welcomed the Lord Lieutenant. And she was quite good. She was lovely because she went, oh, that front. And she was like, she said, it's totally my fault. She said, I had the driver bring me to this front, not the front. She was lovely over it, so it was all fine. But
and she's so down to earth, and obviously hosting the table, my nerves were like, up until that point, it was still going.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you think, I know not everyone's into the royal family and stuff like that, but to think, and people were saying to me, I didn't realise that when we was talking afterwards. It's like, that was the equivalent of the king sat next to me.
Absolutely.
She was representing the king there that evening.
Yeah.
So I think from a club's perspective, our kudos of the club has gone up 100-fold over the last few years that we've built, and that's with me, Hilary. I'm not saying Michelle at the moment because obviously you've just come on, but you have still done stuff in the background to help. Yeah. But from the directors, me, Hilary, and Valerie, who unfortunately resigned the other year because of getting ready to retire. We've been putting a lot of work in, for various things, and it's starting to come forward, and it's really nice. It's good for the club.
No, it's good. So the other thing I wanted to pick up on is that I certainly heard a lot of the people commenting on the flowers on the middle of the table. So they were really nice as well, weren't they?
Oh, the award flowers.
Sorry, yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
my fault.
For the judges.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, so that was Alison.
Right.
So Alison won last year.
Yeah.
She was on the committee with us organising the event this year.
Yeah.
But she does floral displays
With her mum.
With her mum as an aside.
Fantastic.
I think her mum used to do it professionally.
Yeah.
So when we said, we always get the judges some flowers to thank them for the very unenviable task of going through all those nominations. And they were beautiful.
They were.
And then she'd gone for the autumn colours.
Yeah, really nice, wasn't it? There's a lot of comments saying how lovely they looked.
Yeah, because we had to, with us having to move the event due to the government deciding to do an election, which was great, which was around when we was meant to have the event.
Yeah.
And we moved it to Halloween. We wanted to do a bit of a nod to it being Halloween, but we didn't want to turn it into a Halloween event. So again, with Alison's help, we had some fans for the ladies around the room.
Yes.
Because it was very, very warm. But she'd wrapped them and they had little Halloween stickers
Yes,
on.
I noticed that as well.
And Donna, Jason's wife, for her charity, it's the
So happy to help.
She'd done pumpkin-shaped bags,
I
goodie
saw that
bags,
as well.
which we put some chocolates in and funnily enough, Halloween sweets in.
Yeah.
And so it was just to try and make it a little bit special, just to make it a bit different. So again, that's what we worked on this year.
That was noticed again. So when I was asked to everyone ushered into the room because we're starting, I was like, yes, please take your seats. Again, some of the comments are like, oh my God, a pumpkin bag. So again, really nice touch. And I think again collectively, you've all done something that's absolutely nailed it on the night. I just also wanted to pick up your good lady was nominated and won.
She did, yes.
She was nominated three times, I think.
Going back to that about, like Michelle said, yes, I knew who had won.
Yeah. Couldn't tell her.
As much as she tried getting that out of us, it's like,
no,
you got the same email as everyone else, you've been nominated.
Absolutely.
But it's like, that is hard when you and Michelle, and Hilary with her hubby and all that. There's, you don't want to keep secrets, but there are certain things you have to do. And obviously, I wasn't involved in the judging. I just gave the stuff there. Yes, I did know who had won, but it's like the judges made those choices.
No, absolutely.
So that side of it, I had nothing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the hardest thing for me that day was, and I positioned the table of where I was putting, obviously when we'd laid it out, but I actually positioned where Donna was sitting so that I couldn't see her from where I was sitting. Because it was like, I'm hosting the Lord Lieutenant and the Colonel and Dame Della and my other judges and all that. I didn't want to be distracted because obviously, like husband and wife, you're very close and all that. So seeing her over there, and I know she doesn't handle, the pressure and the anxiety. So I knew she was going to get emotional. So it's one of those, and ironically, she said afterwards, she said the same to me. She said, I couldn't even look at you at the table. I knew exactly where you were. But she says, I couldn't look at you because if I'd looked, she would have burst into tears, which I would have got wound up because of what she does. But no, it was good to see that.
And she didn't cry at all.
No, she had
some little
lime juice and I can't remember what else.
Something that she said.
Cinnamon or something.
Yeah.
She had lime,
so there was some. She had a bit of lime because after the event had finished, I went and sat with Jackie, and you was on the table behind me before we all started leaving, and she said, "There's a drink there. Have a bit of that." So I went to pick it up, thinking it was, and I went to and I looked and thought, this is a weird glass. And I went and smelt it, and it's like, I'm not drinking. She was expecting me to down me. But yes, so she had some coping mechanisms because of the anxiety. So there was one about lime juice, soured sweets where she was eating soured sweets, but pinching herself. So she bruised her arm where she was pinching herself. And these are all, she's Googled it and she'd been trying it for after she got told that she's been nominated and she may have to get up, she was like, well, what do I do? And it's like, we just have to cope with it.
Absolutely.
Just get on with it.
Yeah.
Life's life.
But she did.
And she did.
Brilliant.
So yeah, and it was good to see her going up there, but it was, like you say, it was good to see all the others as well.
Oh gosh, as I say, I think every single person that was nominated, every single person that attended, every winner. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house at the end of it. Everybody was just, and obviously at the end of it, where when everybody was leaving, I was going down and saying, so you enjoyed the night? Because obviously I met up with Mags, I met up with other people, and they were like, what an evening, what a spectacular evening. I think everybody had nothing but praise for anything going. And it was a long day. I know it was for everybody, and you included, a long day. But I think to go around every one of you now, what can I ask a highlight? What was the highlight of the evening for you, Michelle?
I think, well, most of us are going to say the same thing. Donna winning, I think it was fabulous because the work she does, and she puts herself down a lot with everything. And I think seeing her face when she'd won and the fact that she actually got on stage and didn't do a runner out the door, which I was wondering at one point whether she would do, it was just fabulous because it's not very often that you have that contact with someone that's won.
Yeah.
I know the fabulous things she does. I know the amazing things she makes. And to see her actually win, it was doubly good for me.
Right.
So
that's nice.
Because I knew a winner, if that makes sense.
And what about yourself, Hilary?
I think for me, I know this is a bit of a a large word, but I think just the atmosphere, the vibe, the feeling, it felt as if everyone was there to celebrate, everyone was there to support everyone else. Like you said yourself, everyone was happy for everyone who'd won.
Yes.
And it just felt, the news is rubbish at the moment. Every time you turn on the telly, every time you pick up a paper, it's just all depressing. But to have an evening where it was only good news stories, we were only sharing positive stuff. It was all about these wonderful things that people in our area are doing, not people somewhere else that we've never met. Like Michelle says, people we know are doing these wonderful things. So yeah, for me, it's that positivity and that celebration.
And obviously, as I say, that's a lovely thing to say, but obviously you were also put on the spot to do it. So it must have been a double sort of like, I got through the night as well.
Yeah, I definitely felt a lot better at the end than I did at the beginning. I think once I got going,
of course,
it wasn't too bad because the first thing you're thinking, it was the speaking with the microphone was my first word.
Well, I was there when you were testing it, and I was like, right, we'll just talk a little bit. I don't know what to say.
Keep going. Because, I present VAT training, but for VAT training, a big crowd is 20 people.
Of course.
Don't use a microphone. I just stand there and talk to people. So, yeah, the technical side of it was a bit scary, but once I got going, and I suppose because everybody there is in a good mood, everybody knew that I'd only come up to do it last minute, so I knew that even if I got stuff wrong, everyone would have said, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. So I felt like everyone had my back.
Oh,
anyway,
100%.
So,
we had you there.
Right.
We were like, go on, Hilary, go on. And what about yourself, Jason? Highlight of the evening. Again, it can be anything you want.
Highlight, I can't say one. There's 4 things that I want to say. So
that's
first,
one, so
first one was obviously Hilary standing in, did an absolutely amazing job.
Awesome.
And whilst Hilary was up, and she hadn't been going long when she was stood up there, I'm sat at the table and I've got Dame Dilla to my left and the Lord Lieutenant to my right. And the Lord Lieutenant sort of leant into me. Dame Dilla leant in as well because obviously she realised the Lord Lieutenant was going to speak. And she went, "You've got a compare for life there."
Oh.
She is a professional. She's a keeper. At which point my response to her was, "Mum, I know she's a keeper, but my wife is over. Please don't say that." So that was my first takeaway from it, of how Hilary stood in, and I did drop her in it, but it wasn't deliberate.
Gosh, you didn't drop me in it because I didn't have to do it.
No, you didn't have to, but what I'm saying is it's like that last minute, it was right, okay. But again, like you said, we were there to support.
Yeah.
So, and I think when Hilary did her opening speech, within the first sentence, it was about celebrating, but I then think you then went straight on, but it's about an inspirational, let's be inspired this evening. So that was that one. Obviously, having the Lord Lieutenant for me was a massive, wow.
Yeah.
To the point I've got a few friends that, from down south, from when I was a kid down there, that they're like, "Oh my good God, how you've come from a rough council estate to where you're sat with who.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
That's nice.
So that was a big thing for me that I did that. The third one was actually just the whole evening, like everyone, relaying what everyone else is saying. Just the atmosphere in that room, like Hilary said, I'm not going to try and use the words, but it was just undescribable. It was amazing. And
I
obviously,
felt it electric.
What was the fourth one?
Good. Anyway, moving on.
maybe the fourth one, but not in that particular order, is obviously with Donna, like you said, Michelle. Just seeing my wife actually win something that she was like, I'm not going to win this, not when I'm up against others.
Where has she put the award?
Well, it's at home because downstairs, because she's just moved into here, as you know, all three of you know. So she's one of your colleagues in the building now. There's nowhere to put it downstairs. So at the moment, it's at home in the front room.
Well,
so, but it's like,
it does need to come into the office.
It needs to come into the office, but I've just got to organise, and I think all of you have seen the office. It's pretty much
need to put up some shelves.
Shelves are needed.
But it's like, it's just an amazing night.
Good. No, honestly, I can't thank you all enough in terms of putting on that night. So, just before we wrap up, I do want to ask, how can businesses get in touch, potentially being sponsors? When is the next event going out so people can register? What are we looking for now? Here's your opportunity to get out there.
We are due to have a meeting, but I think the plan is we want to get some early bird packages
Can
out.
Resilient be one?
We've already signed up.
All right. See, I don't even know these things.
You're our first sponsor.
We are always the first sponsors. Especially because when we were deciding the awards, there was an award that I put forward that I wanted in. That is one that I think is. I've got a close association with it, and it is the unsung hero sort of thing. Which is why I put that one in. Which is why I was mentioning about it's an award that the cleaner can win.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, that was key. So we always sponsor that. We will be sponsoring that from now to eternity. So that's got our name on it straight away.
Yeah.
But we're looking to get some packages out, hopefully for just as soon as the new year launches.
Yeah, of course.
Because
everybody's running into Christmas now.
Yeah, it's daft now. No one can think of because it's going to be like September-ish sort of time.
Is that
September,
when it's going to be
October-ish.
again? So
we're hoping for. We've just got to.
October again.
We've just got to look at the other awards that are going on because there's so many going
you
on.
Don't want to clash with it.
You don't want to clash. It's not fair. And the thing is, we're probably the only ones that are thinking it that way, but it's not fair. And it's not fair on people that maybe want to attend more than one event that they can't do. So we've got to look at that. And also, as I say, if we are bringing the expo back next year, we've got to look at when that's going to be held as well, because there's a lot of work in doing both things.
No, exactly.
So we're looking at, in January, we can get some early bird packages out there.
So Darlington Business Club website is the place to look. So everything will be up there. Details of the different sponsorship packages, details of the awards and how to nominate people for the awards, details of how to buy tickets. It'll all be on the Darlington Business Club website.
But there's nothing stopping anyone to come to us now. Like I've just said, we're doing it. By all means, if anyone wants to come to us now and say, put me down for next year, we will mark them down for next year. That's very easy to do.
Which is what actually happened last year. Obviously, yourselves and all that. After last year, you came straight away like you've done this year. But some of the other sponsors did exactly the same.
Yeah.
There are plans for me to look at the website. I've got the photos now from the evening. I've got the 2 videos. Videos are now on YouTube, but the photos are going to go onto the website at a lower res. Because obviously I don't want to overload it, but they're going to go up there so people can start seeing that. And there's going to be a couple of bits. Are you interested in sponsorship? Yes. And then that's going to send it. And are you looking at attending?
Yeah.
Just so that we can start to see a list of names, so we can start collecting.
Yeah,
that.
but it's got to be interesting to a point. Sorry, not interesting. It's got to be vital to put a date in the diary as soon as possible. Because as I say, even silly that it's September or August, people will need to go. No, I need to book that date. So hopefully, if they booked that date, if anything else clashes, well, I've got a prior appointment.
Yeah.
So we always start with what are we doing at the weekend? I won't ask you because I know. So Jason, what are you doing at the weekend, my friend?
This weekend, I'm
putting shelves up.
No, I'm still clearing out the old premises because obviously we're handing that property over that we've been in for 9 years now. So that's next week, end of next week. That's finally over, end of an era. So clearing that out, moving stuff around, and obviously updating the website for the club and a few other bits.
I'd be interested to see the pictures, so we'll need to get that out there. Don't forget to tag us and stuff like that. Yeah, that's it.
Home stuff, really.
Yeah, exactly. What about yourself, Hilary? I know you're going somewhere.
I've got 2 very exciting things on this weekend. So tonight, my husband's band is playing in Derby at a place called the Hairy Dog. They're smart. There's a band from America called the Drowns who are headlining. And then my husband's band, Gimp Fist, are on before them.
Wow.
And a band called Rivalry are opening.
Yeah.
So we're heading down to Derby for that. Straight after this,
Straight after
I'm officially on holiday today.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you for
we're
popping in.
Going down for that, staying over in Derby, meeting some friends for breakfast, and then heading home. And then on Saturday, it's my mum's 80th birthday.
80?
Wow.
She's never
Bless
80.
her.
She doesn't look 80. God bless her. She's lovely.
I'll tell you, said that. You've seen her once in a car park.
Absolutely,
I
but
would
even
tell her
so,
what
they
said.
never put her at 80.
So yeah, we're going out for dinner to the Bay Horse in Herworth.
Oh,
Oh,
this
lovely.
is fantastic.
Lovely.
We love that
That's
place.
where we're having our Christmas meal this
Oh,
year.
are you?
Yes.
It is
Yes.
beautiful.
It is
I love it in there. Any excuse.
So yeah,
Yes,
it'd be
yes,
my
yes.
mum and my dad, my sister and her husband, and me and my husband.
Oh, that's
all going out for
fantastic.
dinner. So
No,
yeah.
fun.
We'll have a lovely weekend.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
celebrate
That'd be really
women.
nice. And what about us?
Us, yeah, I'm spending time with my husband. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to spend time with my wife. No, I'm not. I'm playing Factorio.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, yeah.
We'll spend time in the same house in different rooms.
No,
No, we're in the same room. He'll
be
be
fair.
playing Factorio and I'll be sat with the cat, reading and
Yeah.
drinking wine.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Because that's usually what I do.
Yeah,
Sounds like
exactly.
very nice.
While he plays his games.
Yeah,
yes.
plays his
So-
games. Michelle just sits there, feet up with a cat glass, and then occasionally I'll just hear, I'll look, and the glass is empty. And I'm like, sorry, darling, I do apologise.
No, I did recall that the other week after the awards and all that. It was like that catch up the following day.
Yeah.
We were actually talking.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you okay to talk? Yeah, it's all right. Andy's in the corner. He's playing his game. I've got a glass
Yeah.
of wine. And I went, well, that's funny that, because I've got a glass of whiskey.
Yeah,
And it's
Yeah,
like-
because we phoned for a 5-minute chat that
Five-
turned into about 45 minutes,
Yeah.
just chatting and shooting the breeze
Well, listen,
post-event.
thank you all so much. Thank you for celebrating women in business. Thank you for the next one. I can't wait for the next year to see what it is all. But it's all been fantastic to meet you. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having
thank
us
you.
here.
Not a
Thank
problem
you.
at all. We'll have you back on for 2025 to see what happens then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening and have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.